great having you here.
Thank you.
Great panel, by the way. Leaders of some of the top B schools in the country, all under one roof.
True.
Amazing. So I would like to start this conversation by asking you, what has been the one biggest achievement for higher education in the country in 2023?
I think the rebound from COVID has been a big achievement. So COVID was a learning experience.
In 2023?
Well, 2021, 22, we were just getting out of COVID, yes. So we were taking some of the learnings from COVID and then amalgamating it from our normal traditional classrooms.
Okay.
So certain things worked during the COVID period, certain things didn't work. So made you realize what the limitations of technology can be, but also what can be done with technology. Had it not been for technology, we would have had 0 years. So I think it took another year to internalize that, and I think in 2023, a more blended learning happened.
Okay.
Because we were combining the advantages of traditional classroom teaching and using some what the online possibilities were. So I think that's been
Right.
good.
What could have been done different or better, and what exactly are your hopes for the year to come? For higher education, of course.
Yeah, I think sustainability is a major issue.
Okay.
And I think business schools, we started making some progress, but we have a long way to go. And still at the fringes, but I think needs to become a big priority. And everything has to revolve around that. Because unless we have a planet, there's no point making it more efficient. And so I think not just on the supply side, but on the demand side. So we need to sensitize the students, and through marketing, they can sensitize the world that you need to have simpler lifestyles, more frugal, less wasteful, and the difference between joy and pleasure. So pleasure can come from material things,
Right.
but joy comes from friendship, from good conversation, aesthetics, honesty, integrity. So we need joyful lives, and sure we need some material components. But if we substitute joy with pleasure, just by consuming more, having symbolic consumption, brands, cars, just because they're flashy, I think we need to sensitize the students, and hopefully they will sensitize the world when they become business leaders.
How big of a role do B schools play in doing exactly this, what you mentioned? Making sustainability a big part of their lives?
At the moment, very little.
Okay.
Because the first tendency of business is to make money, and so the existing tastes of people, that is what businesses cater to. So people want luxury consumption, they want brands, they want to impress others, they want to impress themselves by consuming material products. Businesses just pander to that demand. Changing demand patterns is a tougher task, and it's not just something businesses can do. It's something that political leaders, people in theatre who write novels, there's a cultural. But today, business leaders play a larger than life role. They're not just business leaders. People look up to them, they follow what they say. So I think business leaders themselves need to embody some of these principles.
Okay.
If they're living lavish lifestyles and not being exactly sustainable in their own lives, I don't think if they can preach, nobody will follow.
Okay.
So I think they need to inculcate some of that. Maybe a CEO can take public transport.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe. Or go to ride on a bicycle. You know, in Denmark, the Queen goes on a bicycle. So maybe if a business leaders did something on this front and demonstrate the difference between joy and pleasure, that would be helpful.
Okay. What goes into making of a B school that can help equip students for this economy, the economy of today?
I think given the challenge of AI, competitive advantage will come when we become I. With rote learning, with CAT 99 percentile required to get into business schools and so forth, all through multiple choice. The great competition and the pressure that generates, I don't think there's leisure enough for creativity. So, people are becoming a bit mechanical, they're becoming efficient, not necessarily creative. Add to that the information overload from cell phones, from social media and so forth. So there's a breadth versus depth thing. I mean, you have limited time, limited energy. So either you can go deep into a subject, or you can skim through various things. So watching television, you can watch one debate for an hour, or you can skim 20 channels in 3 minutes each. And I think given the availability of information, the tendency that's happening, shorter attention spans and breadth, but depth is being sacrificed. Now, AI is breadth. Okay. AI is lots of information. But intelligence is depth, it's creativity, it's doing things, seeing things which we have not seen before. A definition of intelligence is to see patterns that have not been discovered before. So it's creativity. Okay. So I think so in our classrooms we need critical thinking, we need more storytelling, more lateral thinking. So then we can beat AI. We can't beat AI at the level of AI. They'll beat us and they'll take away our jobs.
Okay. Some people might argue that AI is there to complement human efforts, yes, help us do our things better.
Yes, yes, but it can complement if AI, because after all AI is created by AI. Intelligence creates AI. AI cannot create itself. The day it did, it might throw us out of this planet, and that's why the Sam Altman has been warning about the dangers and Elon Musk of AI, that they might take over the world. Right. So it's I which needs to regulate AI. But if we become like AI ourselves, become mechanical in our thinking, right, then who's going to regulate AI? Because then there's danger.
You know, B school rankings have been a huge topic of discussion. Indian B schools, although doing a great job, still miss out on the top bracket. Why do you think that is?
So if you're looking at the global rankings, and I guess that's what you mean, I'm personally a little skeptical about all this ranking business, because you straitjacket things, So research, for example, is visible, and that gets counted, right? But teaching and learning is very difficult to measure. Right. I mean, unless you come to the classroom and you look exactly at critical thinking going on, you can't measure it. The problem is when you start ranking on the basis of measurable things, then the immeasurable things like teaching, learning, mentoring, supporting each other, collaboration, all the softer things, which in the world of AI is what AI can't do, because that's all humans can do. That's not going to get measured. And if that starts getting neglected because it's not being measured, because that's the incentive structure, then the real business of teaching is no longer happening. So I think there's not just a pinch of salt, you need a bucket of salt to look at these ranking things. And I personally think that can be fairly dangerous.
You mentioned research. How is your institute helping students foster research?
Right. So we have, of course, a big PhD program, but at the master's level, all students need to do a dissertation. That's a compulsory part. And in that dissertation, it's like a mini research, mini PhD, if you like, but a shorter one. We encourage them to pick up topics which they find exciting, which are contemporary, and we ask them to do some primary research, go and talk to industry. Often they do summer internships as part of the program, so we try and see whether they can link it to that internship experience. Okay. And therefore, they apply what the theory they've done. This happens in the second year. So all the theory they've learned in the first 2 semesters, we ask them to apply and give us a dissertation on a research topic. And that happens with every single MBA student. Of course, PhD students, we have about 150 PhD students at the moment, and they're specializing in their areas of research.
All right, all right. Thank you, sir. So it was a pleasure chatting with you, and I have to mention you're a great orator.
Thank you, sir.